Hi everyone, welcome. My name's Alex Nashton and this is my beautiful assistant Chris. Today we're going to be moving through an hour-long practice that will consist of a little bit of movement just to relax and release the body, and then a little bit of meditation at the end called Yoga Nidra. And I'll get more into exactly what that is as we approach that part of the practice. But for now, you should know that we're super excited to announce that we've partnered with BODHI. You can subscribe to their YouTube channel for updates and a library of classes. The link will be in the description box below. But for now, make sure that you have some props ready. You're going to want to have 2 pillows, a blanket. If you have blocks at home, I usually recommend having 2 blocks for a practice like this. If you don't have blocks, you can use whatever you've got around. Those old DVD sets can work as blocks instead, or if you have some shoe boxes, those will work too. We're going to start with a technique that I learned from my teacher, Katie Silcox, who learned from her teacher, Alicia Fajardo, that is going to be a little bit about how we release the nervous system and learn to relax it. Because despite how much we've evolved over the past few thousands of years, we still have this very ancient animalistic nervous system. And just like any other animal in the wild or in the woods, when we get lost, when we don't geographically, physically know where we are, we move into a state of stress. We move into a state of panic. And so when our bodies are here, but our minds are moving in 1,000 different directions, it sends that same signal from the mind to the body that we are lost. When we are lost, we are not safe. And so we become stressed, we become anxious. So we're going to start today with a very short meditation just to get you oriented and grounded into the space that you're already in. So you can come to sit with your ankles crossed in front of you. If you want to move into supported virasana like I'm sitting in or Chris is sitting in, you're more than welcome to. You can slide a block between your ankles so your knees will stay together, but the tops of your feet are a little bit wider apart. And then you'll bring your hands to your thighs. Your palms can either face up or face down. You let your shoulders relax down your back. Lift up higher through the crown of your head. Find a little extra width between your collarbones. And let the most superficial, the outermost layers of your body begin to soften. So any muscular tension begins to dissipate. Any expression on your face begins to dissolve. And you'll feel into your right side body. Now, can you begin to perceive the distance between your right side body and the wall to your right? So not just feeling the right side body itself, but feeling the space between your right side body and the wall to your right. Right side body and wall to your right. Now you'll move your awareness over to your left side body. And feel the space between left side body and the wall to your left. You feel the space between left side body and the wall to your left. Hold your awareness there. Now begin to perceive the space between both sides of your body and both walls that frame you. The space between right side body and wall to the right, left side body and wall to the left. You feel the space between both sides and both walls all at once. And imagine here that the sides of your body, those two respective halves, were being magnetized to either wall. Like your entire right side body could unfold to the right, and your entire left side body could unfold to the left. When we find ourselves in a state of stress, when the nervous system is in more of a fight or flight response, in other words, when the sympathetic nervous system is turned on, our skeletal system, our bones, will literally move into a state of collapse. They'll curl in on each other. And vice versa. So when we move into a state of relaxation, our skeletal system will literally move into a more expanded state. We'll hold our awareness here for just a few more breaths. For a moment, you'll release your chin down to your chest and blink your eyes open. With the eyes open, you'll slide yourself forward onto all fours, slip your block out of the way, and you'll immediately curl your toes under, lift your hips up and back, and press your heels down to the ground, walking your hands back to your feet, or even walking your feet up to your hands for a forward fold. And so from this position, you'll put a little more bend in your knees, maybe even a pretty generous bend into your knees. Let the weight of your upper body hang heavy so your spine tractions down, your arms are heavy, your hands are heavy. Maintaining that bending your knees, you'll breathe in and one vertebra at a time begin to round yourself all the way up to stand. The knees stay bent. Once you're totally upright, you'll shrug your shoulders up by your ears, down your back, lift your chest, lift your chin. And then exhale, let your chin come back in again. Let your shoulders cave forward. Imagine the crown of your head was the heaviest point in your body, bringing you all the way back down into that fold. So the knees stay bent as you roll up and as you roll down. And you'll keep going with this. So with each breath in, you round yourself all the way up, one vertebra at a time. Once you're totally upright, you shrug your shoulders up by your ears, down your back, lift your chest and chin. You exhale to curl chin in, shoulders cave forward. You articulate all the way back down again. And so as you take these next few breaths, rolling up and down in your own time, at your own pace, you'll bring your awareness back to the orientation of your body in the room around you. So as you move up and as you move down, you feel the space between right side body and wall to the right, left side body and wall to the left. And just like any other physical or mental exercise, the more you do this, the easier it becomes. So if you're closing your eyes and trying to feel and you can't quite perceive the depth, you can't quite perceive the distance, just keep trying, just keep staying with it. It'll come eventually. So next time you round down, you'll pause, you'll stay there. You'll put a little more bend into your knees. Begin to walk your hands forward. Begin to walk your feet back. So you come into a downward facing dog. The hips stay high. You'll use this just as a transitional downward facing dog so your knees can come down to the ground. You'll untuck your toes. Bring the big toe mounds of your feet together. Knees are going to stay wider apart today. And you'll draw your hips back to your heels for a child's pose. Let your upper body relax down. Let your forehead be supported by something, whether that's the ground or a block. And then the palms of your hands can either stretch forward in front of you, or you can let the backs of your hands rest on the ground by your sides, just like Chris is doing here, and let the palms of your hands face up. And now, even more important than the physicality of the shape is where exactly your attention is. If your mind is circulating to other things, if you're thinking about what you're going to eat right after this or what you have to do tomorrow, you're perpetuating the same thought patterns that you always do. You're perpetuating neural pathways of distraction and unfocus. And so we use the more meditative component of this practice as a way to disrupt those normal thought cycles, to bring the awareness back to the present moment and reaffirm and deepen neural pathways of presence, of focus, of calm, of peace. And so using the meditation that we started with, you once again feel the space between right side body and the wall to your right, left side body and wall to the left. You continue this orientation practice of mapping internally where you are in relation to the room around you. And if there are other people in the room with you, you'll feel what their presence is like too. You feel the space between you and whoever is nearby. And notice just how different this practice would feel if you were doing it alone. If you're doing it alone, you notice just how different it would feel if there was someone in here doing it with you. And so you not only acclimate yourself, you not only orient yourself to the container of this space, but also to the aliveness that exists within it. We'll take just a few more breaths here. And now you'll slide your palms to the ground in front of you again if they weren't there. Ease yourself up onto all fours and then sit your hips over to one side. Swing your legs around in front of you. You'll bend your knees, take the soles of your feet to the floor, and then for just a moment, you'll take the palms of your hands back behind you and very gently windshield wiper your knees from side to side. Try to keep your chest lifted here, your front body spacious. You'll pause in center and then extend your left leg forward. Connect the sole of your right foot to your inner left thigh, and then allow the left toes to relax. Allow the left leg to relax. So know that it's okay here if the left toes kind of fall over to the left, that's fine. But do bring your awareness down into your back body. And if there is any rounding in your back body, if you're already finding yourself way back here on your sitting bones, you might want to elevate your seat a little bit. So this would be a good time to put a bolster or a pillow underneath you, or even a folded up blanket, just to give yourself that little bit of extra cushioning so you can establish a little more arch in the lower back. The pubic bone reaches down, the sitting bones revolve back behind you. And then with that revolve, you'll dig your fingertips into the ground, lift your heart up even higher, your shoulders move down, your back away from your ears. So the upper body is active right now, the lower body is relaxed. With that length in your spine, you'll walk yourself forward. Before you get to that point where you feel like you're going to hit an edge, you'll pause and give your upper body permission to round and relax down. You'll most likely find some space between your forehead and the ground beneath you. So I'm going to encourage you guys all to use your blocks, to use your pillows, to use your shoe boxes, whatever you have for support to prop your forehead up. The idea behind this is that when we give ourselves scaffolding, when we give ourselves support physically, when we give the forehead something to lean into, it permits the rest of the body to relax. And so here, feel your shoulders getting heavier. Let your elbows relax down. You can even turn the palms of your hands to face up and let your fingertips get softer and curl in towards each other, so there's absolutely no tension in the palms of the hands. And because this shape that we're taking now is more of a yin shape than anything else, you'll give yourself permission to let go of any lingering tension in the rest of your body. So start by bringing your awareness down to the base of your spine, and vertebra by vertebra, walking your awareness upward, noticing any particular part of your back that's a little extra sensitive or a little extra tight. And as you pause your awareness there, you'll take a few extra breaths, and once you feel some space being created, you'll continue to walk your awareness back up again, from the tailbone all the way to the base of the neck. And we will be here for a little while. So this would be a good time to integrate the meditation back into it. You breathe in and feel yourself in relation to the walls that surround you. You perceive what is between your body and those walls, whether that's a chair or a couch or a pet. You internally map your relationship to the room. And it takes about 90 seconds for that information to move from the brain down into the body and switch off that stress response. So hold your awareness here. Try to stay with it. You'll take a full breath in, a longer exhale, an even deeper breath in, a longer breath out. Now flip the palms of your hands to face down. press your hands into the ground beneath you, and one vertebra at a time, round yourself all the way back up to sit. Once you get there, we'll switch sides. So now the right leg extends out in front of you. The sole of the left foot connects with the inner right thigh. You dig your fingertips into the ground beside you and first work to lengthen your spine. So the lower body stays relaxed. Let your right toes hang heavy. Work to find that little arch in your lower back so the pubic bone roots down, the sitting bones revolve back behind you. With that arch, you begin to walk yourself forward, at first maintaining the length in your spine. When you can't maintain the length anymore, you let everything in your upper body relax. You use the support of your block. You use the support of your pillows. You use whatever you possibly can to give yourself scaffolding, to give yourself something to lean into. And you'll scan your awareness from your tailbone to the crown of your head, noticing any part of your body that is still trying to exert control. Is there somewhere you're still holding on where you don't need to? And can you release it? The palms of your hands will flip to face up. You let your fingertips get lighter and curl in towards the palms of your hands. Arms are heavy. Head is heavy. For these last few moments, make sure you're still feeling into the space between sides of your body and sides of the room. Take a deep breath in. A long breath out. Another big inhale. An even longer exhale. The palms of your hands will find the ground once again. You'll slowly press yourself all the way up to sit. You'll bend into your knees again and bring the soles of your feet to the ground one more time. The palms of your hands come back behind you, and you very gently windshield wiper your knees from side to side. Just moving around the lower back. And we'll finish off the movement portion of our practice just by finding a very gentle restorative back bend. So if you have bolsters, bolsters are great. Otherwise, you can take your blanket, unfold it once, and then you'll roll it up. So it's almost like you have a little sausage roll here. Until you've got a little circle like that. Once you've got it, you'll lie yourself down so your spine is completely supported by either the bolster, the long pillow, or the blanket. Palms of your hands will face up beside you. And for today, you'll keep the knees bent, so you might even bend them a little bit more than they are right now. Walk your feet out wider, maybe even as wide as the mat, and then let your knees come in to touch, so you're tenting the legs. Nice. So we will be here for a few breaths. You'll take your time here to feel back into the space between your body and the walls around you. In this particular shape physically, you'll be able to really discern the right half of the body, the right half of the chest from the left half. One more time, can you imagine your body, each respective side, being magnetized to each wall that frames it? Like you are slowly being pruned apart, like you could grow more and more expansive. Like you could take up more space in the room around you. If you are really loving being in this back bend and it feels sustainable for you, if you feel like you could comfortably stay here for the next 20-25 minutes, you're welcome to keep the pillows, the blanket, the bolster underneath you and just straighten your legs out. If you're wanting to take a more traditional Shavasana, I'm going to encourage you to roll over to one side to lift yourself up. Slide your props out of the way and then settle yourself back down again. If you do have any sensitivity in your lower back, you're going to want to slide a pillow underneath your knees. Otherwise, you'll make sure that there's something that's covering your body, even if it's just putting on an extra pair of socks. If you have a blanket nearby, you'll completely cover yourself with that blanket. Being physically covered is very soothing for the nervous system. Our bodies also lose heat when we begin to relax. So even if you're warm right now, make sure that you're covered. And do your best to make sure that you're very meticulously covered, that there's no finger, there's no toe that's going to pull your awareness away from the practice. You'll rock the back of your head from side to side for a moment and make sure that the back of your head has landed in a position where it's supported, where you feel like your neck can release. If you need to do any fidgeting or wiggling just to get your body totally comfortable, get that out of the way now. Take any final movements, stretch any way you need to stretch just to get yourself fully ready to be in stillness and be in quiet for quite some time. And so now you'll decide on stillness. And know that the impulse to move, to fidget, to wiggle will inevitably arise. And through all of those impulses, you can choose to stay here, to stay quiet, to stay still, to remain in observation of them as they rise up and as they pass away, as they rise up again and as they pass away. And the longer you stay in that observation, the more you'll notice that they get fewer and far between. If your eyes were still opened, you'll close them now. And we'll begin the practice of Yoga Nidra. Nidra is the Sanskrit word for sleep. So in this practice, we're teaching our bodies how to sleep while our minds stay alert and focused. Because of that, we give our brains the opportunity to drop into the hypnagogic state between being asleep and being awake, where we have the greatest access to alpha and theta brainwave prominence. In other words, where we have greatest access to the subconscious and unconscious mind, which makes this an incredibly potent practice for pulling out old belief patterns from the root, for pulling out any old memories, emotions that have become stuck in the psyche. It's also an incredibly fertile place for planting a seed of intention. So if there is an intention you'd like to set right now, not just in this practice, but maybe even for the rest of your week, or for your life in general, this would be a good time to set it. In a Nidra practice, we refer to intention as sankalpa. That's the Sanskrit word. And it's a little different than an intention that we would make just in our everyday normal life, because it's a conscious command to the subconscious and to the unconscious mind. We plant it in a deeper level of the psyche where it has the greatest opportunity to grow, to manifest, and to kind of unravel any belief patterns that oppose it. So if your intention right now in life was to cultivate more forgiveness, your sankalpa would be, I am forgiving, or I forgive. If it was to find a little more peace, your sankalpa would be, I am peaceful. You make it a positive, affirmative statement and treat it as if it were already happening right now in the present moment. You don't have to try too hard to find the perfect one. Usually the first thing that comes to mind is the one we need to go with. But once you've got it, you'll silently and internally think it to yourself on repeat. With each repetition, you'll let it grow a little more resonant. You'll let it get a little bit louder within the framework of your body, until you feel it ringing out like a bell, sending waves of internal sound moving through every single part of you, pulsing and vibrating. Each part of your body with its resonance and with its truth. You let it ring louder and louder, recalibrating your entire system like a tuning fork, until the frequency of your body, the reality of you in this moment in time, is attuned to the frequency of this sankalpa, of this truth, of this intention. You'll let it go from your mind and know that we'll revisit it a little later in the practice. But for now, we'll move through a rotation of consciousness, where I'll call out different parts of the body and you'll bring your awareness to each part. You'll start by bringing your attention to the tips of your toes. And imagine a warm golden light moving in through the tips of your toes. Flooding into you like liquid gold, illuminating the soles of your feet, radiating through the tops of your feet, pulling down into both of your heels until both of your feet are glowing with this radiant gold light. From your feet, you'll draw the light up through your ankles, washing over both of your calves, both of your shins, and glowing up into your knees until your entire lower leg on each side and both of the feet are glowing with this radiant, warm light. From the knees, you'll draw the light up through your thighs, through your hamstrings, and all the way up to your hips, to the very bottom of your pelvis. And feel both of your hips illuminated with this warm golden light. Let the light dissolve any tension, any tightness, any pain that's lived there, until both of your legs are entirely filled, glowing from the inside out with this light. Draw the light up through your hip bones to your tailbone. And imagine this light concentrating like a single beam, moving up through the tailbone, through the sacrum, and pausing there at the back of the sacrum to illuminate your entire pelvic bowl with light. Return your awareness back to that point on your sacrum and draw that light like a single beam up through the center of your spine. From your sacrum to the point on your spine that lives directly behind your navel. From that point on your spine, allow the light to radiate outward and wash over the entire inside of your belly, to wash over all of your internal organs, glowing from the inside out with light. Return your attention back to that point on your spine directly behind your navel. And from that point, draw the light up through the center of your spine like you could pull it up a straw to the point on your spine that's directly behind the center of your chest, heart center. From that point, allow the light to radiate outward to fill the front of your chest, the back of your chest, both sides of your chest with light. Let the light move down through both of your lungs to illuminate the entire inside of your rib cage. Let the beating of your heart pulsate a little more light through your system. And return your awareness back to that point on your spine, directly behind the center of your chest. From that point, draw the light up through your spine to the center of your neck. From that place, allow the light to radiate outward, clearing out your neck, illuminating the inside of your throat for clarity of speech. And from that light radiating through your throat, you imagine it moving down through the tops of your shoulders, cascading down through your upper arms, through your elbows, through your wrists, to your forearms, until the entire arm on each side, from the shoulders down through the forearms and the wrists, is illuminated with light. Allow the light to move down through your wrists and into the palms of your hands, allowing the light to pool in the palms of your hands, creating warmth and heat there. Let the light cascade down into the backs of your hands and radiate through all 10 of your fingertips. Imagine the very tips of your fingers glowing with a warm golden light. From the tips of your fingers, you draw your awareness back up again through the arms, through the shoulders, and all the way up to the center of your neck. From the center of your neck, you draw the light upward into the centermost part of your head, to the space that's directly behind the point between your eyebrows and centered between both of your ears. And from that space in the center of your head, the light radiates outward to fill the entire contents of your head, to fill the entire inside of your face. you return your awareness once again to that pinpoint of light at the center of your head, and draw the light up once again to the crown of your head. And from the crown of your head, you'll very quickly sweep your awareness back down again to your toes, and draw the light all the way up from the tips of the toes to the crown of your head. And as if the crown of your head were a fountain, you'll imagine the light radiating outward through the crown of the head, and then cascading around you in every direction, washing over the front, the back, and both sides of your body with a warm, golden, radiant light. And as the light traverses down the outside of your body, from the crown of your head to the tips of your toes, you imagine it circulating back up again, from toes to crown, up and out, around and down to the tips of the toes, like you could create this big infinite loop of light moving up through you, out and down again. And as you create this circuit, as you create this loop, you'll now feel the space between all sides of your body, the four walls that surround you, the ceiling and the floor. You feel the space between every side of your body and the perimeter of the container that you're in. You'll imagine this entire container pulsing with light as you breathe in, growing a little bit dimmer and softer as you breathe out, pulsing with light as you breathe in, getting softer as you breathe out. You'll begin to count each pulsation of breath backwards, beginning with the number 11. So it'll be 11 inhale, 11 exhale, and so on. If you happen to lose count, go back and start over again at the number 11. Let go of your count wherever you are. We'll move into the mental, emotional body first by moving through a pairing of opposite visualizations. You'll start by imagining your body getting very, very heavy. Your arms heavy. Your legs heavy. your heels and the back of your head, with every breath out getting heavier and heavier and heavier, until you feel so heavy it's as if you could sink into the earth beneath you, like you would sink into warm sand on a beach. Call on a feeling of heaviness now. And then let it go. And imagine yourself getting lighter. Your arms light. Your legs light. Your fingertips, your toes, and all of the tiny muscles of your face. With each breath in, getting lighter and lighter and lighter, until you feel so light it's as if you could float up off of the earth beneath you and drift around the room like a feather. Call on a feeling of levity, of lightness now. Now release it and allow yourself to momentarily fluctuate between the two, feeling heavy and then light, heavy and then light. Heavy, light. Bring yourself back to a place of neutrality where you feel balanced. And from that time, imagine a memory of a situation when you felt unsettled. What does it feel like to be unsettled? Notice the physical manifestation of being unsettled and allow the memory to dissolve. Let the memory go, let it dissipate. But continue to explore your internal landscape when you feel unsettled. And just as quickly as you call it in, you'll let it go. And remember a time when you felt grounded. What does it feel like to be grounded? Let go of the memory that provoked that feeling, but stay with the physicality of being grounded. Explore your physical body. Where does a sensation of groundedness manifest? Do you feel it in your chest? Do you feel it in your gut? Does it settle any buzzing in your head? The feeling of being grounded. Now let it go. And allow yourself to momentarily move between the two, feeling unsettled, and then grounded, unsettled, grounded, unsettled, grounded. Stay with that feeling of groundedness and move your awareness up to the center of your chest. Remain aware of the sensations you feel here at the center of the chest as we transition into a series of rapid visualizations where I'll call out different sensory images and triggers, and you'll simply notice what you feel in response to each image. If you find that a particularly strong memory or emotion has come up to the surface, try not to linger on it for too long, but continue to follow the sound of my voice. You'll begin by envisioning a red toy train. The smell of pine trees. The taste of chocolate chip cookies. Your mother's eyes. Two puppies playing with each other. Donald Trump wearing a pink tutu. A snake slithering through tall grass. Your father's feet. A single candle flame. A single candle flame. A single candle flame. You notice the tiniest wisps of smoke coming off of that flame as the wick burns. And as the trails of smoke begin to move up into the air, you see them aligning to spell out the words of your sankalpa, of your intention. You internally read it to yourself a few times. You notice a gentle breeze moving into the space around you, carrying the smoke and your intention away to move out into the world and manifest as it should. you'll bring the rest of your awareness back into your physical body and feel the space between your body and the room around you. Feel the space between your body and the wall to your right, your body and the wall to your left. Notice the sounds you hear, the sensations you feel. Begin to deepen your breath and start to move your body around. Wake yourself back up again. You can stretch one side long and then the other side long, like you're waking up in the morning.